Bryce Dusky joining you from the 2024 Cattle Industry Convention, and joining us now is the 2024 NCBA President-elect Buck Wehrbein from Nebraska. Congratulations on that honor.
Thank you.
Tell me a little about your background. Some of our listeners and viewers know you, but for those that don't.
I'm from eastern Nebraska, born and raised there. Spent 20 years in the Texas Panhandle and commercial cattle feeding business, raised our daughters there, and then Sandy and I moved back to eastern Nebraska. Been in a feedlot there for 25 years and served with Texas cattle feeders, Nebraska Cattlemen, Nebraska Beef Council, and now NCBA. So I've been on the checkoff side and the policy side.
What made you want to get involved in the policy structure in particular within NCBA?
Well, there is so much going on. There's so much to protect our business from in Washington and the state capitals and so forth. I have always had a desire to serve, and so and have been asked and encouraged by people I respect. So I got involved, and once you do get involved and meet the people that are in this business and so forth, that you get even more inspired to try and help.
As we look ahead to the next year, what concerns you most about the threats facing the cattle industry?
I'd put that in two ways. I'd answer it in two ways. That there are the normal things that we're simply always fighting, it seems like, taxes and the current one the last few years has been waters of the United States, and gypsa and things like that, that it's almost like whack-a-mole. You just got to keep fighting them, and I guess they're never going to go away. But then you come up against more current things and interesting things. One right now is cell-cultured protein that's coming down the pike. We assume that will become an economically viable thing. Nobody's afraid to compete with it. We've competed with plant-based protein for 30-some years, and that's fine, but we need to make sure that people understand what they're purchasing if and when this product becomes economically viable and actually becomes on the market. And so we will be working very hard to make sure the right agencies have labeling control over that, and that the labels are fair and accurate. You're talking about immortalized stem cells that are put into a bioreactor in chemicals and come up with this. Our president, Todd Wilkinson, calls it goop, which is whatever it is, and they're going to try and sell it as beef. And so we need to make sure that our consumers understand what they're purchasing.
You use the term economically viable when talking about cell-cultured meat or fake meat. Doesn't seem like it has been thus far. What have you heard when it comes to the intel on the inside?
Well, what we hear is it's economically prohibitive, and they can't make very much of it and so forth. However, it's technology, it's new. I don't think there's any question they'll get better and better at that. And so I think we have to assume that one of these days it is economically viable, and it will be a product out there with which we'll compete, and that's okay. But once again, it is not beef. It never walked on a pasture or ate a blade of grass. People need to understand that.
As I mentioned in my introduction, you are president-elect in line to become president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. It's a big organization, a lot of different perspectives. How do you go about navigating that and trying to serve the association?
Well, that's one of the things that is the most fascinating and enjoyable about it, and also can drive you crazy, because cattle people are very opinionated and not on the same page on lots of different issues, and yet we are all essentially facing the same direction in wanting to promote our product, sell our product, be allowed to produce it, use the land as we know best. The bovine is the greatest steward of the earth's resources. That needs to be understood in Washington as it is out on the ranches and farms and so forth. And so it's a challenge, but especially when you come here, a lot of great people in this business. And that's one of the most fun things about it is meeting those folks and seeing what they're like and what they're up against, but also their triumphs and wins and so forth.
Toss a random question your way as we wrap up our time today. Students from the University of Nebraska are here, Beef Scholars program, saw them out mingling. What advice would you give somebody just interested in entering the industry, perhaps interested in serving in a position that you're about to serve, you yourself?
I would say that you have to get involved. the old saying is the world's run by the people that show up, and there's a lot of truth to that. And so get involved, see how this process works. If I could magically do something, it would be that every producer in the United States would get to sit in on and experience the different state beef councils and beef commissions, the different state affiliates, policy affiliates and associations, and see how people are coming together in a serious way to decide how checkoff dollars are spent or the policy that's going to be implemented by these associations. I think 99 out of 100 people with concerns, if they could see the process, would be fine with it after that. So get involved and learn.
Buck Wehrbein, the 2024 NCBA President-elect, our guest as we talk here at the 2024 Cattle Industry Convention.